We have just made it to Coron, a place that is often considered to be the hidden gem of the Philippines.
But being completely honest, the first impressions and even getting here has been much more hectic than we imagined. I expected it to be a little bit different.
You really understand that this infrastructure is not made for 100,000 people. Yet our plan in this video is simple. We want to show you how to discover Coron in just 2 days.
Well, 3 if you count today's ferry ride as well.
And also help you understand if it's actually worth the hassle. The group of islands that we are discovering today is located about 130 kilometers northeast of Palawan, one of the most visited tourist destinations of the country. So Coron itself, it has about 60,000 people living here.
It's like the size of Manhattan or the size of Luxembourg City, but when it's like peak season of tourism, then it might even double because a lot of people want to come here.
So for about 4 to 6 months out of a year, this small beach town transforms into a vibrant tourist hotspot.
But why do people come here is mostly because there's 2 very special lakes here that are partly saltwater, partly freshwater, and they're in between the cliffs. We also hope to see them.
So beautiful nature is definitely, the main reason why you come here. But as I mentioned before, getting to Coron can be quite a hassle.
Like getting here, it's like a bit of a joke.
And for most visitors, the journey starts hours earlier in the port of El Nido.
When we were in the ferry, there was at one point there was an announcement that we are delayed because the captain has not arrived.
Yeah, we waited 2 hours for the captain. I don't know what he was doing.
Having a coffee?
Maybe coffee, hopefully nothing else. However, as the ride began, the things didn't really get much better. On our ship, I'd say at least 5 or 10 people were actively puking. They were actively seasick. And it was hard to watch. I felt sick myself as well.
Yeah, me too.
And instead of the 3.5, 4 hours that we heard from the company, it took us around 6. And finally, after spending most of the day fighting seasickness in transit, what awaited us was an extremely busy town. I'm not really getting the holiday vibe that no one really warned us about. A thing that this island teaches you really bloody fast is sharing the road with every other type of vehicle. The air is just thick with gasoline smell. While walking on the main street, you really understand that this infrastructure is not made for 100,000 people. Whew. That's absolutely crazy. During high season, this place really feels more like a big city than a small coastal town. In the last 5 or 10 minutes, I think we've been offered 7 tuk-tuks and 3 island tours. No hot springs, thank you. No beach either, thank you. Yeah, and you can really see it from the air, like every place around here is inhabited. Locals themselves, a lot of them live on the water, like on those houses on lakes.
Houses on lakes.
And it's super crazy to see the contrast between like big hotels, luxury resorts where the tourists come to, and then you see the small local communities. Many of them still rely on fishing, rely on farming. So yes, the first hours on the island were very different from what we expected. Being completely honest, I'm not getting the hidden gem vibe. It's super tiring, and I'd say like the hardest part is just moving around, because there's so much traffic, so much things happening all around you. But we knew that there had to be another side to this place, the one that we had read so much about online. Tomorrow, like when our actual 2 days start, We'll try to get away from this craziness. We'll try to find some quiet places and see what Coron and its authentic side is actually all about. And so, accompanied by those thoughts, we went to our hotel to get some well-deserved sleep. So a thing that we've realized so far is that the best way to experience like local Philippines life is to get a scooter, because then you can get out of the centers and into places that other people don't go that much. So renting a bike together with a helmet is like 10 euros a day. Also, the price is the same if you take the kids' helmet. But there's the bikes and we'll go and grab one.
Okay, ready. And to the gas station we go. Because we have nothing inside.
While filling the motorbike with gas, we got our first clue about what the local traffic culture actually looks like.
Apparently they don't want truck drivers without a license.
Although licenses are required by law here, then it is not often enforced, and many people in traffic don't bother getting them at all. Like only taxi drivers and commercial vehicle drivers need license. So the traffic itself, it can be quite hectic because there's thousands of people who have actually never learned it. It's just by experience, and like the strongest survive.
Okay, I think we're done. We're ready to go.
Okay. In all honesty, the situation on the streets was actually much better than it sounded in theory.
I must admit that the streets seem pretty calm at the moment. There's not too many people walking around. There's not too many cars. It's almost peaceful to drive.
There was a local lady wanting to cross the road on a pedestrian crossing. I let her over and she was like, "What? Why would a bike stop for me?" She was smiling, she was super happy. But it just shows that zebras and like crossings, not a huge thing. But as the town center stayed behind, it was hard to accept that we were still on the same island.
It's just cooler. Look, we're in the forest on a dirt road, seeing places. It's freedom.
The road took us up and down the rolling hills. To our left and right were green fields and thick forests. Life itself seemed to be moving a little slower. In the small villages that we passed, the kids on the side of the road decided to stop us. I think it was more like a prank that you have to stop. You have to stop, and when we stopped they were like, no, go. Salamat.
So what I was talking earlier, this island there actually is called Coron. This island here is actually called Pusuanga. I got pretty confused in the beginning.
The streets here were small and narrow. Yeah, there's chickens, cats, dogs, everybody running around. But most importantly, wherever we went, we felt safe. We were greeted by smiling faces and genuine curiosity. It's quite crazy to see the difference. Like, when tourists come here, it's big hotels and fancy and everything. And then you walk into a local neighborhood. And most houses that we saw around us were built of whatever had been available.
But when it's so hot, you don't really need that much, I think.
That's true, your house doesn't have to be concrete. You can just make one out of bamboo as well, but still the difference is just so huge.
And there was a 15-minute scooter ride away.
Yeah, I think we should get further away from the town.
I think so as well. But what I'm looking for is like a white sand beach. That's not it.
However, driving further from the city came with its own challenges, because the tiny tires of the scooter really don't match well with the unpredictable roads. Well, my flip-flops are full of muddy water and wheat husk. Or rice husk, I'm not sure which one it is. But we got through. So on we go. There was mud and sand, rocks as well as gravel.
In the hopes of finding a sandy beach.
And just when I thought that I was up for the challenge, ready to take on whatever the road throws at me. Ouch. First fall. Liisu is okay. My knee is bleeding. Just in the most harmless place. Rock in the middle of the road. And the soft ground below. Takes so little to lose control. Well, after a quick checkup from my favorite travel doctor, we were once again ready to continue. To keep on looking for this hidden paradise that we had heard so much about. Just made it to a small seaside village, and I'm a little bit shaken from the fall on the scooter, but the locals were very nice. They were surprised, like, what are we doing here? How did we find the place? What stood in front of us was the closest thing we had seen to a white sand beach. But in no way was it a holiday destination.
We looked at the satellite map and thought, oh, this is gonna be nice and sandy beach. But it's actually tiny pebbles and like mangroves.
I feel like now we made it to a place that really shows Philippines, how it used to be, how it still actually is in many places. Just look at this boat. Little nets over there. It's the bread and butter for the locals. Every day they take it out, they go fishing. What surrounded us was a perfect example of traditional Philippines lifestyle, centered around farming and fishing. From up high you can really see how wherever there's fresh water, then there's gonna be like rice paddocks and farming, and next to the sea there's coconut trees, which is another plant that really feeds your family. You can sell them, you can use them for cooking, many other things. Such a wonderful tree. And although we truly enjoyed seeing this part of the culture, just taking in the views.
Huge pig.
Sea pig.
Sea pig. Just sleeping.
Then even after searching for most of the day, what we hadn't found was the hidden paradise that we had heard so much about.
We haven't been able to find like a sandy beach here in Coron. Maybe there isn't any. Maybe this is why most people stay on Palawan.
And so, just before calling it a day, we made our last stop. Just a tiny bit off the main road. And you have this freshwater river with clear water.
The waterfall is beautiful.
The waterfall is pretty freaking beautiful. Having such a stunning place all to ourselves was truly special.
To be honest, this has been the best thing that has happened today to us. I expected it to be a little bit different, that the driving around would be more picturesque, I think.
What she's also trying to say is that the roads and the road conditions are not good, so we don't have enough time to look on the side of the road.
And we had a tiny accident as well, but luckily it's all fine. I'm trained to take gravel out of wounds. It's fine, it's fine.
As we returned to our hotel, we couldn't help but feel a little anxious. Getting to Coron had been such a rough and expensive feat, yet was coming here actually worth the hassle? And with just one day left on the island, we knew exactly what we had to do. Well, and now that we've seen what the quiet and green and beautiful part of Coron looks and feels like, we are heading for the thing that most tourists actually do here. and this is called the Super Ultimate Tour. I know, sounds very grandiose, and it's gonna be a whole day of activities. In front of our hotel, the minibus was already waiting, and after a quick 15-minute ride, we arrived in a busy port. Almost like walking into a crowded market. There was hundreds of tourists waiting for their tours, and between them, dozens of charming salespeople trying to earn their daily bread. So it's been more than half an hour, probably like 40-45 minutes. What had we gotten ourselves into? Don't want to complain, but I'm complaining now. And was this really why we traveled all the way here? Yet as we finally boarded the ship, the change was instant. Suddenly we were surrounded by calm and beautiful sea. Gently we glided over the water, and then it was there. At first as a tiny green spot on the horizon, and then right before our eyes. A true masterpiece of Mother Nature. The island called Coron.
We have now made it to Kayangan Lake, and since it's a lake we cannot like swim into there. We have to first climb up and then down.
The road to the lake was definitely a challenge. I'm not saying that it was crowded, but we accidentally high-fived at least 3 strangers simply when trying to walk there. The first views are freaking stunning. It's like knives, the cliffs are sharp and long. But as you can guess, this place is popular for a reason.
What makes it special is that it's a mix of fresh and salt water. But I think the biggest spectacle is actually from the air. Did you just pirate yourself through another boat onto our boat?
Yarr!
Yarr!
Every stop on our tour felt like a small adventure by itself. At times we could jump in the water, where the coral gardens were beaming with life, the healthiest we had seen in the whole country. So far the snorkels have been really quite beautiful. Like the coral is alive. We saw a, what's it named? Nemo, clownfish. Then starfishes, just beautiful clear water. Very lovely experience.
So this is going to be Barracuda Lake, and it's a special kind because it's called the thermocline lake, so it should have like different layers of hot and cold water and fresh and salt water.
With each passing hour, we fell deeper in love with the nature that surrounded us. It was almost like a meditative state, where anything besides the present moment seems irrelevant. And I guess it was right here that we slowly started to understand why Coron is so loved by people from all over the world. The most beautiful part of this journey has been each time when I put the drone in the air, the views from up high, like, these are so gorgeous. The lagoons, the lakes, just the contrasting colors, the cliffs, little trees growing on the cliffs. It's yeah. So you may ask, is Coron really the hidden paradise that we had read so much about online? And to this, I have to answer no. For years now, this place has been on the list of the most visited places in the Philippines. And peace and quiet are really not why this place is known for. Okay, it's pretty fun to see. Like around us are small boats, and some are even made of like styrofoam, just cubes. And on top, the guys have one bucket with them, and they go from boat to boat and like beer o'clock, beer. Local 7-Eleven.
Open 7 hours, closed 11 hours.
However, is it actually worth spending 2 to 3 days out of your holiday to get here? Well, this time the answer is absolutely. Coron truly is one of those places that feels like that it's taken out of a fairy tale. It's a wonder of the natural world, and undoubtedly the memories you make here will stay with you for a lifetime. That was super cool, and I made fun of it before because it's Super Ultimate Tour, it's literally the name, but it's longer than the others, you visit more places, and that means for the last places there's so few people. Like, it felt so much more special, just the calmness, the weather. But one question still remains.
What have we learned today?
First of all, we've understood that sometimes you have to go off the main road to find the most beautiful places.
We have also learned why Joe likes to travel with a doctor.
But perhaps most importantly, we realized that the extra hustle that you need to go through makes the end result seem even more beautiful. Friends, thank you for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.